What's up, my world isolationites? That's a mouthful. In this breakdown, I'll break down Italy and the interview I did with Davide Coleman. We're going to talk about patient one. We're going to talk about a little bit of the care packages China's sending and how everyone's collaborating together to help each other. So, without further ado, enjoy, be safe, do your part, and I'll let Davide take it away.
I have something like okay here it's we what we call the patient one was actually not really the patient one was because
It's hard to find out that fact, who
yeah
really was the.
yeah that's the point, and the virus were spreading here way much before uh, what in the beginning we thought was the beginning of the plague. Can I call it like that?
The what? What'd you say?
The plague?
The plug.
No? Yeah,
What do you mean?
yeah. The spreading of the virus because like we had some anomalous cases of pneumonia since between December and January.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the number rose up more than the normal numbers. Okay, so in a lot of places I heard there was this suspicious like anomalous pneumonia. They were just calling like that, but no one even thought, well, it could have been the coronavirus from China. But I'm almost sure it was. You know what I mean?
Did
Because
Italy did Italy actually point and say this is case one? This guy was case one?
yeah, we have a guy that we call the the patient one,
Did he
but
recover?
he just went out from the hospital, I guess, 1 or 2 days ago,
So he
or maybe
recovered.
he's innocent. Yeah, he recovered.
How could they do this to somebody? Like say you are the case
Oh no,
one.
no, 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 no. Wait. No one knows his name. No
Oh,
one knows his
I was gonna
name.
say this guy, man, he's not
No,
gonna be able to
no, no,
get a
no.
job. He's not gonna. They're not gonna feed him. They're not gonna let him sit down for
Call it,
dinner.
we call it the patient. No, we just call it the patient one,
Oh
just
my
because
gosh, good. Phew.
you're
Can
not
you
allowed to
imagine?
know his name. Okay,
Okay, good.
so the point is, this guy was the first guy who was found positive, like on a SARS stuff related to the coronavirus,
Right.
and yeah, it was in this little town, 1,000 kilometers from here, and since then things have changed a lot. I mean,
So is the
now,
government helping? Is the government helping you guys out at all?
yes, well, actually, more or less, because it depends. Of course, in a situation like that, there's always some classes which are um, more in which have more difficulties in living and stuff. Because, for example, there's like a special crisis welfare system that they build up in these days. So, like, I actually had to stop working for a half month because my contract was expiring like today, actually. Anyway, so but for
Welcome
the
to unemployment.
yeah. Well, actually, I already have signed a contract for the next month,
Oh, good.
for the summer. But in I will have some welfare, a lot of complicated words I can't say in English, but the welfare system now it's helping me with sustainment, passing through the 2 weeks I was not working, because
Yeah.
I had first to expire all of the holidays I had to like a bonus with holidays
Right.
and all of those stuff, and then with this one.
And
But
is the
there's
what's up?
some classes um, which are not touched by this welfare system, like black workers. They from a day to the other, they maybe they fabric has closed or something like that. They're not receiving money at all. So
What is black workers? What is that?
people who works black paid.
Oh, like under the table, like we say
Yeah.
here, under the table money.
You say under the table. Okay,
Yeah, I
we say
know.
black paid.
Yeah, we say in South America they say plata negro, the same, like
Yeah.
black money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the government's helping a bit, and are people able to have companies? A lot of them gone remote. Are they able to make the
Yes.
transition to
My
working from home?
my father is a perfect example because I mean, for the people who for the jobs in which it's possible doing this,
Hmm.
the smart working is doing since quite a lot. Because my father lives in Milano. He's smart working, I guess, nearly a month already.
Right.
So yeah, because but he's living in a like he's a programmer, so he was
Oh,
actually
cool.
a bit doing smart working even before. Like for
My brother said the same thing. My brother, we just jumped on like a family call the other day, last, I
yeah,
guess, Sunday, 2 days ago. And he said the same thing. Everyone's like, oh, we've been remote now for a month. My brother's like, yeah, I've been remote now for about 11 months. And, I'm starting to think my company had something to do with it because they put me on remote like they knew it was coming.
well,
I'm like, Chris, I might need to speak to your company. That's good. I think they're onto something here.
yeah. But for example, I was a sailor. I was selling stuff for a company,
Salesman,
so salesman. Yeah.
salesman. There
So
you go.
I I can't do it like on webcam. I don't know how to say.
Don't never
Some
say
job.
you can't. Never say you can't. My friend is his name's Hamza. He'll be on the show also, but he is from France, or he's from Morocco, lived in France for 18 years, 20 years, and he flew to Morocco on a Thursday, the Thursday before Morocco shut the borders, right? And he's a salesperson. He works for Slim Pay, and shout out to Hamza for this. But he asked me, what's a website that's like Badu or whatever, and I gave him some American website, whatever, and he's just been on LinkedIn, kind of trolling LinkedIn, I would say, but he closed the deal. It was in the top 10 biggest deals in the company in Slim Pay. If you know what Slim Pay is, they're like a
No, I have no
platform.
idea.
They're a platform they're kind of like a PayPal, but for major corporations, right? So major
Okay,
transactions
okay,
between companies. Yeah, he closed a deal like a 1 month sales cycle. He like it was supposed to be probably like a year-long sales cycle. He closed it in like a month during this time
crazy.
of quarantine. But it's kind of interesting, right? Because um, people are a lot more susceptible now during a crisis like this.
Yeah,
They're a lot more open, a lot more understanding, a lot more friendly because we crave interactions, and people aren't necessarily getting the normal interactions they've had throughout their whole lives. So they're more susceptible to someone messaging them saying, hey, what's going on? I noticed this, I noticed that. How could I help? By the way, stay safe,
yeah,
stay this,
yeah.
stay
By the
that.
way,
So it's kind of like
yeah,
we all have this ability now to bond. So
yeah.
um
I truly feel that this thing is changing a lot of people's minds. Like as a crisis, I don't know. Like I've seen this culture, like this world entirely a bit too much still. You know what I
like
mean?
stagnant, like not moving.
Stagnant. Exactly. I was
Yeah.
searching for that word, stagnant. And I think something like this. I mean, for all the bad things that can happen. After a crisis, there's always a rise,
Yeah.
and it is doing a lot in people way of seeing the world after a crisis. So maybe.
Yeah, I hope everyone's coming closer together. That's one of the goals of this series as well, to have strength in numbers, to kind of have an outlet to show vulnerability and to talk about what's going on, because we're all in this together. There's no pointing fingers, really. Like, yes, it happened, so what? Now what do we do? Are we going to look in the past and say, hey, it's your fault for doing this? No, like, we have no choice but to stick together, to support each other, to help. And shout out to China, actually, not for what happened, but for sending over ventilators and helping out. I think, I heard that China has sent Italy some care packages as well, right? Like
I
ventilators, and
guess.
maybe workers, having some volunteer workers that have.
Yes, we had volunteers from Cuba and from Albania and from China as well. The first experts arrived from China, and now we have extra doctors coming from Cuba and from Albania. Yeah.
And are these
Um,
people that have been infected before that are here now so that they're able to work hands-on with patients, or are these just experts on the virus to help with research and stuff?
I think in the case of China, but this is a personal opinion. I think in the case of China, it's like um, expert with an experience that came here to help us for I don't know which reason exactly, but in the case of Cuba, I was discussing with my father yesterday about that. The case of Cuba and Albania, they have the opportunity to have their doctors doing some experience on the place in which the thing is really going on. So
Uh,
they are way much more prepared when the thing is coming back in their country.
oh,
So
so
it's
they're
like
there. I see. They're there as kind of to see what this virus is capable of, right? So they're able to go back home and say, "Yo, we need to prepare ourselves for what's going to happen, and this is how
yeah,
Italy's preparing themselves. So this is how we should strategize, more or less, to prepare themselves.
yeah,
This is what Albania is also doing, I'm assuming, right?
yeah. I mean, I repeat, this is a personal opinion. I mean,
Right,
but I
right,
think
right.
it's like this. I mean, for probably also like I'm not saying okay, maybe Cuban doctors are paid way much more for doing something like that. But I think the main reason is it's this. It's like a pandemic internship for doctors.
Which is
Um,
invaluable. I mean, it's going to be there eventually, as we talked about. You can't just assume that it's not going to come to your country. So,
yeah.